Do I stay or do I go? So the topic is, do I stay or do I go to Mozambique? And I'm not talking for myself. It's something that I've been asked over the past couple of weeks. People have been asking me, do I stay or do I go to Mozambique for my holiday? So today is Sunday the 29th of December, and I'm Gary. The reason I believe I've been asked by these people, and why I believe I'm qualified to comment on the current situation, is that I've spent 18 years and am still working in this type of environment, from training to consulting to operating as an advisor, a trainer, a close protection operative, and I've done it all over the world in places you wouldn't take your family on holiday to. And I've seen all the different phases of countries falling into civil war, being in civil war, post-civil war, and full-out invasions from the global war on terror, being in Iraq for a predominant period of time during that period. And as recent as Europe and Ukraine as well. So that's why I feel they've asked me, and why I think I should weigh in here a little bit and comment on a very brief answer to, do I stay or do I go? Let's go over a brief sit-rep of what's going on in the country at the moment, without being political and mentioning names and using basic OSINT, open source intelligence gathering, which I'll explain to you later, how I've got this information. And again, without going into the history of Mozambique, let's just talk about what's happened now. So here we go. October, election results were disputed, unrest followed. Monday the 23rd, the Mozambique Constitutional Court ruled that Frelimo were the winners. The election was disputed, the results that were announced in October, and took until the 23rd for the Mozambique Constitutional Court to rule that Frelimo was the winners. Just to add to that, there's no international election committee that will sign off on the fact that the elections were free and fair. So I'm not taking any sides here. I'm just pointing out the quagmire of the dynamic rather of what's going on in Mozambique. The opposition leader, who competed as independent, declared that there would be turbo V8 protesting. I'm not the one that comes up with these names. And also, he's not Renamo. Okay, he's an independent. Monday to Friday, it was chaos. Okay, across the country, there was the prison break. We know that somewhere between 1,500 to 6,000 prisoners escaped. We know that 29, according to the report, 29 prisoners were convicted terrorists. You obviously know the situation up north in Mozambique, in Cabo Delgado, and what's going on there. If you don't, go read up of it. But basically, as of Friday, the Turbo V8 protest is over. And the people are now waiting for further instructions on Monday. Hence, there's going to be a period of relative calm between Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Tomorrow, which is Monday the 30th, we will be hearing from the opposition leader, who calls himself the president of the people. There's a statement that came out on Friday, which I'm going to just quickly read over. Summary of the president, VM7's live broadcast, the 27th of the 12th, 2024, about the Ponta da Lança phase, or simply the final straight phase. I know I butchered that, sorry. This will be the most advanced phase of all phases we have gone through, said the president of the people. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we will carry out our activities normally, since we have burials, visits to family, church, and other activities. But on Monday, everything will come to a standstill to hear the announcement of the Ponta da Lança, again butchered phase, or simply the final straight phase. I will be calling it final straight phase from now on. where the President of the People will explain in detail how it will be. He added and said, last Monday, the CC, which is the Mozambique Constitutional Court, or version of that I was talking about, said that they wanted to say, they said what they wanted to say throughout the day. Frelimo did what they wanted to do, trying to manipulate people's minds, but the good thing is that the people have already awakened. Already next Monday, we will hear the measures from the final straight phase, where everything will happen at once. We can wait until Monday to hear the measures of the final phase, or simply the final straight phase. Okay, so that's the statement that was released by the opposition leader, the President of the People, regarding what's going to take place. He's not in the country. He's outside of the country. Nobody knows exactly where he was. He was in South Africa. There's reports of him being in Switzerland. And he's using social media to put out his statements, his voice. So, okay, let's back to the topic: go or stay. So, for me, it's a very simple answer, and this is what most people don't get. First thing you've got to understand is you are responsible and accountable for your own safety and security. Okay, I'm going to say that again. You are responsible and you are accountable for your own safety and your security, whether it is at home in South Africa, or whether it is on a holiday anywhere else in South Africa, or in a neighboring country, or overseas. Okay, it's not anyone else's responsibility to make sure that you're safe. Just because you pay for your holiday doesn't mean that your wallet or your phone or your car can't get broken into or stolen or whatever. So I would urge you to take the same attitude as you have with your family at home with any travel, and that goes regardless of what situation you're in. Right. The second thing is, everything that I've just spoken about and mentioned here, I've gathered from, and I've done it specifically through open source intelligence. All right, open source intelligence is a fancy word for saying I googled the shit out of this. Okay, all of these topics, all of this information is available on the internet from multiple different media sources. I would urge you to compare multiple stories, from international news agencies to local news agencies to our own news agencies here in South Africa, and see what's common amongst all of them. And that's normally the closest to the truth you'll get. That said, I've also done it without emotion. Okay, I've looked at all the information. I've done it without emotion. You need to do the same thing when you're gathering that information. The thing is, it takes a bit of time. And as far as I'm concerned, a little bit of time to make my holiday go and be happy while I'm on holiday, I think it's worth it. And if I'm going to stay and I'm going to disappoint everyone, I need to make sure that I'm okay with that. And that's where I talk about you need to justify it to yourself. All right, you really need to be able to justify it to yourself and nobody else. Okay, as long as you can justify it to yourself that your reasons for going were good, or your reasons for staying were good, then there shouldn't be any other conversation there. All right. Yes, it's going to come up, and yes, you're going to have people, armchair fucking commenting on this, but it's your decision at the end of the day. I mean, remember, you're responsible and you're accountable for everything that goes on. All right. So that's your decision to make. So whether you stay or go, gather the intel, check it out, decide, make your decision. But this is where the problem lies, and it's both sides of the coin here. If you do stay, don't now try and justify to everyone else and use emotion to tell other people not to go. Okay, your holiday might have been planned in a region that we can almost guarantee is probably not a good place to go at this current state. You understand that you probably feel bad for the people's loss of income up there. So what I'm saying is, don't now tell the people that are going possibly to the south, which is probably a lot safer, and that's my opinion. And again, I'm really trying not to be political. I'm trying not to state categorically this is what I would do or what I wouldn't do. But I would definitely not be putting out information there that is based off of emotion purely so that I can justify to other people why I've done something. Okay, I'm the only person that needs to own it. Okay. And the same goes for the other side of the coin of the people that did go, that are there, that are commenting and using emotion and stating, oh, well, there's nothing wrong, this is fine, I've got access to money and all of that, when the majority of the country is also possibly not experiencing the same experience you're having, and you're painting an incorrect picture. For the commercial operations that are doing that type of thing, I think it's very irresponsible of you, and I hope you have some sort of contingency in place if it does go to hell in a handbag on Monday. And remember, the inauguration's on the 15th of January, and there's a lot of potentials that can happen between tomorrow and then. And what are your contingencies for your guests? If you are feeding them that information, and your little area might be fine, but their way to get out of the country might not be, are you going to facilitate them being there? I can tell you this from the general South African public that I've spoken to, they're very, very sad, and there's a lot of emotion. People love Mozambique. I think Mozambique represents, for those that can get there, one of the best holidays and memories that South Africans can have, because it's the perfect mix of fun, outdoor, and relaxation in a very pristine, beautiful, tropical island style beaches. I've been there many times. I've got family that go up there regularly, and I feel for the people, and I know that if worst case scenario it does all go to hell in a handbag, South Africans will be there to support you. We'll support the economy. We'll be there in tourism, but at the same time we can't risk our families. So decisions need to be made. Tough decisions need to be made, and I urge those people, and I'm one of those, that it's normally the husband or the man of the household. This is what it is. I urge you to make responsible decisions and be accountable for them. And the last thing you want to do is to make that decision and spend the whole holiday worrying about what's potentially around the corner and not enjoying your holiday. You're the type of person that probably should have stayed. And the person that stayed and is looking at all the information and is pretty positive that his area isn't affected and he's getting this, well, then you probably should have gone. But you've got kids to think of, you've got all of these other factors. And look, we live in Africa. We understand how it can change. Those of us that were involved during the July looting and the riots and that will understand it probably a bit more, how quickly it can go. But let me put it to you like this: that's nothing. That I promise you, that was nothing to what potentially can happen. Okay, that was 99% of desperate people that were not fighting for a cause, for a political or religious or whatever cause. You throw that into the mix, you've got a whole nother animal there. And I hope nobody ever has to see that or has to deal with that. And yeah, just on ending, I hope this has been helpful. It's done as short as I can do. It's done off with very little preparation here. I would like to do a follow-up if this was found interesting. Comment and let me know if you guys would like to hear my voice talk about this shit again and see my ugly mug. I might bring my partner in, business partner, and ask him to come and join me on the next one. I've got a topic planned for that if there is one, and that's basically what to plan for when the SH1T hits the fan. Basically, do we bug in, bug out? And it's a total hypothetical scenario. Obviously, it can change a bit from area to area, but we'll be talking mainly about what if in Mozambique, and what are the options and what do they look like. What are the risk factors of doing one versus the other type of thing. So if you're interested in that, let us know. Put a comment below, and otherwise have a great rest of the Sunday, and I hope you all had a Merry Christmas, and looking forward to the New Year's. Kick it off and get back onto the training and back onto the range. Happy days.